Hello, my name is Dwight McDonald. I am the chairperson of the Complete Count Committee for the County of Lubbock. And I wanted to thank you for giving me the time to visit with you about the census this year. Now, I understand that these are turbulent and challenging times, that we are all stressed from dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and then more recently, the social justice issues that have been brought to bear. But please keep in mind that we still need to respond to the census for 2020. You need to understand that this is only once every 10 years. And regardless of whether we get everyone counted or not, these are the numbers that we're going to use, that the federal government is going to use for the next 10 years to determine a lot of the benefits and money that your county receives. So while we continue to deal with these issues, you need to keep in mind that we still have an obligation, constitutional obligation actually, to respond to the census for this year. You can respond either by mail, by telephone, or this year, for the first time ever, you can respond online. It takes 6 to 8 minutes to complete your census online. The U.S. Census Bureau has now started to deliver census packets to those families that have not responded online or by phone at this point, and they will leave them on your doorstep for you to respond and put in the mail. But you can still respond online. As some of us are still social distancing, that is obviously a concern. You don't have to come into contact with anyone to respond online. Now, why is it important that we respond to the census? Because any number of federal programs are funded based on the numbers that are turned in by the census. Programs such as any federal grants, hospital funding, healthcare funding, your highway funding, as well as school lunch programs, not to mention your state and national representatives politically. Those census numbers determine who you will have representing you, or the number of representatives you will have, whether or not you will get money from the federal government to build or expand highways or participate in school lunch programs. All of that is dependent upon the response to the census. Now, more specifically, with regard to Lubbock County, the citizens of Lubbock County need to understand that each person that responds to the census, or each person that is counted in the census from Lubbock County, is worth $1,564 per person per year for 10 years in federal funding. Now, were it so simple that we would just get a check from the federal government for $1,564, I don't think we would need to encourage people to respond. We do not get a check directly from the government, but that money comes to the city of Lubbock and the county of Lubbock to be used to provide services for the citizens of Lubbock. Safety services through the police, highway being built, any trip to the hospital or health care is funded in Lubbock County through federal monies that are received based on the census. So it's important for Lubbock County that we respond at a much higher rate than we have in the past. In 2010, our response rate was 67%. I just checked it today, which is June the 22nd. Our response rate at this point is at 57%. So we have a little ways to go. I understand with the pandemic and everything kind of getting out of line, that may have distracted some folks. Therefore, and because of that, the actual deadline for the census was extended from April 15th until October. So we still have until October to respond to the census. I would anticipate that we're going to outstrip our pace of 67% in 2010, but let's not take that for granted. Let's all do our part in Lubbock County to make sure that everyone is counted. Because the reality is, whether we get counted or not, people are still going to use the highways. People are still going to access public health care. People are still going to request and receive public school lunches. So we need to make sure that we get our fair share of the federal monies that are available and that are determined by our census response. So please make sure that you are counted by responding to the census, and then do something for your community. Encourage your family and friends to respond to the census in order that we are all counted in Lubbock County. Because the reality is, we all count. Thank you.